let's talk about this thing called a pronoun. Pronouns take the place of nouns. So instead of saying Sally here, we could use the pronoun she or her or hers. For Bob, we could use words like he, him, or his. If we're speaking in second person, we would use the pronoun you. If we're talking about those guys over there, we would say they, or them, or theirs. If we're talking about our family, or people we hang out with, we would say we, us, and our. So you can see pronouns are pretty useful. They take the place of nouns. They take the place of specific places, people, or things. You may be wondering to yourself, what would life without pronouns be like? Well, I'll tell you. Let's read a story without pronouns. Joe Bob, a student, was walking home one day when Joe Bob saw Joe Bob's dog dart across the road and into Joe Bob's neighbor's backyard. "What is Joe Bob's dog doing?" Joe Bob asked Joe Bob. As Joe Bob got closer, Joe Bob realized that Scruffy was digging furiously in the ground. "What will Joe Bob's neighbor think when Joe Bob's neighbor sees this mess?" thought Joe Bob to Joe Bob. I think you get the point. Without pronouns, writing sounds incredibly repetitive. So the type of pronoun that we're going to start off with are personal pronouns. These are pronouns that refer to the person speaking or writing, the person listening or reading, or the topic, person, place, thing, or idea being discussed or written about. While this chart may seem a little overwhelming at first, it's actually the easiest way to remember your pronouns. So here's what I do. I start with these things I call test sentences. And they help me figure out what's a subject pronoun, what's an object pronoun, and what's a possessive pronoun. And then I divide the pronouns into categories: first person, second person, third person, and within those, singular and plural. So let's try it out. First person singular. So I'm talking about myself. When we talked about narration, we said that first person was a character in the story telling the story. So they're going to use pronouns like I. So what fits in blank ate the cake? I ate the cake. Staying with first person, give that to, well, give it to me. First person singular possessive, that is my book. That book is mine. Now let's try first person plural. So still first person, but talking about more than one. So blank ate the cake. We ate the cake. Give that to us. That is our book. That book is ours. Okay, now let's move on to second person. The second person point of view is when you're talking to the reader, so we're using the you voice. So, who ate the cake? You ate the cake. Give that to, yeah, this is awkward, but you is the object form. That is your book. That book is yours. Now we're talking about third person singular, okay? Well, one would be he ate the cake. Another would be she ate the cake. Or if we're talking about a place or a thing, we might say it. Moving on to the object, give that to him. Give that to her. Give that to it. And then possessive, that is his book. That book is his. That is her book. That book is hers. And then that is its book, no apostrophe. That book is its. It's a good time to mention that if there is an apostrophe in ITS, that word is it is. Now for third person plural. We're talking about a group of people that we're not included in. So They ate the cake. Give that to them. That is their book. That book is theirs. So the test sentences aren't meant to be taken as this is exactly how we're going to use them in our writing. We would never say it ate the cake or give that to it. But it shows you where these words fall. Are they subject pronouns? Do they belong in the subject of the sentence? And that would be this category. Are they object pronouns? Do they go after the verb? And that would be this column. And then the last one is how we use them as possessive pronouns, how they show ownership, and that would be this column. So now that you've learned the personal pronouns, let's talk about one more term that's really important when it comes to pronouns. This is called the antecedent. Let's talk about what that is. So back to Joe Bob for a second. Joe Bob is tired of saying his name. He would rather use a pronoun every once in a while. Not using pronouns is annoying. It sounds incredibly repetitive. So we've got some pronouns and antecedents going on in what I just read. In the first two sentences, we replace Joe Bob with the pronoun he. We also replace his name with the pronoun his. Instead of saying Joe Bob's name, we can just say his name. In the second two sentences, the pronoun it is replacing the entire group of words not using pronouns. So, an antecedent is the noun that the pronoun is replacing. So the antecedents want to be it. The antecedents want to be the noun. They're replacing the noun. It's goofy, but maybe it will help you. Recap. Pronouns take the place of a noun or a group of words acting as a noun. Personal pronouns refer to specific people, places, and things. They can be the subject of the sentence, used as an object, or show ownership. This is the chart with the test sentences. And lastly, an antecedent is the noun or group of nouns that the pronoun refers to. So that's it for now. Feel free to go back and watch it again or pause it to jot down some notes.